I'm Jasmine Marslong and I'm a taxidermist, which means I create sculptures using the skin of real animals that have sadly passed away. All of the animals I use have died from natural causes, and so I call this ethical taxidermy. The animals and birds I work with may have been accidentally hit by a car, or flown into a window, or have died from illness or old age. I work with museums like the National Museum of Ireland Natural History to create taxidermy for exhibitions and education. In 2019, I created a selection of taxidermy predators and prey for the beautiful Wonder Cabinet within the museum. These animals all died from natural causes, such as this little mouse that was found in someone's garden and had sadly been attacked by their pet cat, and this peregrine falcon which had a broken wing and was recovering at a rescue centre but unfortunately did not survive its injury. Historically, animals were hunted and collected before being turned into taxidermy, like most of the older taxidermy on display at the museum. But today we understand the value of conservation and have laws in place to protect our wildlife. Hunting does still happen worldwide, but I believe it's not necessary to use animals that have been hunted for my own work. I create my taxidermy using birds and mammals which both have their own distinct anatomy, and so have to be created using different techniques. The skin of birds and mammals are very different. Mammal fur needs to go through a process called pickling and tanning to preserve it, which stops the fur from falling out. But bird skin does not need to be pickled or tanned, but instead thoroughly cleaned. I only use the skin and a few of the bones from the animal within my sculpture, so I have to recreate the body of the animal to put underneath the skin. For birds, I carve a wooden body, making sure it's the same size as the real body of the bird by taking lots of measurements. I make this out of balsa wood. And with mammals, I use a material called wood wool, which is a soft wood shaving that looks like hay. I scrunch this around a wire frame and use cotton thread to build up the shape of the mammal's muscles, again using measurements I've taken from the real body of the animal. This process is called bind-up. The bird's skull and some of the wing and leg bones stay attached to the skin, so I have to clean these very carefully. But with mammals, only the claws stay attached to the skin, but none of the bones. However, I remove the skull of the mammal from the body, which I boil and thoroughly clean so that I can attach it to my bind-up to go underneath the skin. Every piece of taxidermy needs a set of fake eyes that are the appropriate ones for the species of animal or bird. The glass or plastic eyes are set into the skull using a special air-drying clay. I can then start to mount the skin onto the sculpture I have created of the animal's body and sew it into place. The colours in preserved unfurry or unfeathered skin will fade as it no longer has a blood supply to keep it looking healthy and vibrant, so any exposed skin has to be painted to replicate how the living animal once looked. On birds, I have to paint the legs, the beak and around the eyes, and on mammals I paint the insides of the ears, around the eyes and nose, and also the pads of the animal's paws. To be a good taxidermist, I have to watch and study nature around me, gathering as many reference images of animals as I can. As my work is attempting to recreate the natural world, I need to have great reference material to work from. The best thing to do is to watch wildlife to see how it behaves and moves. If you look outside your window, which animals and birds can you see? On your next visit to the museum, make sure you take a closer look at the taxidermy on display to see if you can tell how it was made. Share your discoveries with us using the hashtag #MuseumAtHome. Find out more at www.museum.ie.